Sonny Liston. You wait till I get George Foreman. He talks too much. He's ugly. He's pretending. I'm the true champion, and they make me the underdog. I'm going to show them all they're wrong because I'm the champion. I'm the real champion. There'll never be one like me. And all of you people in Britain who rank me as the greatest, I'm going to prove I'm the greatest. I'm going to prove to you I'm the greatest. We're going to prove to the world I'm the greatest. This is my last fight. I don't want none of you to miss it. So please come to the theaters. I'm going to eat some raw meat, and I'm going to train. I'm going to get ready and chop some more trees. The black Superman who calls to the other guy. Catch me if you can.
Tuning in. This is Faces of Success TV. I'm your host, Pearl J. We have Khalilah Ali with us this evening. And so, Khalilah, it's truly an honor. How are you feeling today? For those that are watching, how would you describe who you are today in your own words?
Well, in my own words, I would just say I'm a person who would like to inspire and help, give suggestions, tell about my legacy, my history, and because it's a part of the American Black history, and I'm a part of it, and I've been very honored to have met people of history as well, and meeting, people who are, geared to express themselves, such as you. You're
right.
expressing yourself, and that's a beautiful thing.
And so, while being, the wife of the greatest black man of all time, Muhammad Ali, were you ever afraid for his life?
A couple of times, but you have to understand one thing. The way you said that, being married to the greatest person, he wasn't always that great. That took a lot of time for us to build and establish. It took a lot of strife. It took a lot of struggle. It took a lot of sacrifice on our part as a team, a married couple. We built who he is, and we built it together. So, of course, he's a great athlete and everything. He will always be a great athlete, but the ambiance of who he is today, we did that as a team together.
Yes, ma'am.
I was by his side.
For me, I'm just a fan, of Muhammad. So never been a wife, so I wouldn't know, but we're getting ready to get into this interview. So were there moments you ever felt unsafe?
Yeah, not really. I was always a woman. I come from a family that people pray a lot, and we ask God for guidance and protection. And so, as long as God is by our side, I don't really worry about that kind of protection, like in danger or anything like that. No. Because I was always a praying woman. And, if you don't pray, you pray for God for your protection.
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever happens.
Yes.
And it's going to be by his permission. So we've been blessed to survive all elements that was against us. And it was because we're believers. And we pray for
and so did life make you strong, or were you always just that way?
As a little girl, I've always, people used to bully me and everything, and I got over that, and I started telling people how bullying is not good. I've always been the big girl, so I've always been there to protect others out of bullying and everything. So I've always had confidence in myself. When I took up martial arts, that gave me a lot of confidence too. Mm-hmm. But I've always been a person that liked to conquer something, beat the odds. I've always challenged everything. And I've always had that confidence. Matter of fact, when I saw Cassius Clay and I saw his confidence, I thought I was the only one that had confidence like that. So that's why we were such a good match during that era.
Right. So what
I wasn't
was
famous
it?
for him, but the confidence was there because of the way I was raised and the way I was taught, and the way I carried myself. I always been confident.
Amen. And so,
Hmm.
what was it like being married to Muhammad Ali during the historic times?
Well, historical times, it was great. Uh, we touched on a lot of people in the revolution of freedom fighting, the revolution of uh, you know, getting being raised in a all Afro American school, a private school that taught me education, Black history when they didn't have Black history in regular schools at the time. Uh, Fighting for freedom and supporting those who were oppressed, and and living in a cultural religion of Islam that beats all odds. So we was a nation within a nation at that time, and we moved up to Islam on 2.0, factor, learning more about the religion as we grew along. Because at first it was we was in an organization that was controlled, uh, but it had the freedom of your faith. We believe in the freedom of faith, and I think that helped Ali a lot. Learning about the faith of Islam, which I grew up in it, so I kind of supported him in that state. Yeah.
All right. So, was it one private moment with him the world never saw but meant everything to you?
Oh yeah, because when he was drafted and they took everything and stripped him of everything, license, passport, everything. Uh, we solely stood behind the religion and the religious factor. And I told him, I said, look, you don't have to worry about going to court. You're going to win your case. Don't worry about it. You're going to get your license back, even if we have to develop a campaign to make him the people's champion. That was my logo, the people's champ. That was the first thing that I initiated being married to him. I said, since they took everything, we're going to conduct a campaign to make him the people's champ, since he is for the people. So before, and he wasn't really liked that much with a lot of people because he resisted not going into the army, so they considered him a draft dodger. And most of the people said, well, if you don't fight for your country, you're a bad guy. So, but that was during the exile days. But he stood there, he stood strong behind me supporting him. And then when I said, look, you're not going to go to jail, I believe in that, I have faith in that, and you should believe it too. Even though he didn't believe it, I believed it. And so I said, one day somebody's going to call and give you your license back. That's just the way I believed that would happen. And with the grace of God and prayer and faith, he conquered that issue. And once he won the court case and didn't go to jail, that's when everybody twisted around and became his pal. He said, well, hey, he fought for his religion, he fought for his faith, he stuck with it, he didn't back down, he didn't turn away, he didn't give up. Hey, we have to admire the guy. So then that's when he really became a greater fighter after he, went through the challenge and exile stuff. When he went
Wow.
through that, that's when everybody started respecting him on a whole nother level.
Wow.
So then he became a little bit bigger because he won his case. He had his family behind him, supporting him all the way. He got married, had children, and stuck with him, stayed on the campaign trail, just like a candidate for office. And I made little buttons This had his picture on it saying the People's Champ. And I even have a jacket right now that says People's Champ because I started the People's Champ. That, you know,
Isn't that something?
yeah, I started that.
You're a
Yeah,
champ yourself. You you
yeah,
are a real champ.
yeah, we did this as a team. We were a team. Like, like Jackie Kennedy and John Kennedy, they were a team. These people were teams. These were a couple who stood through all odds and
So,
survived.
and
So
that
then, when
that
he
ain't
finally
easy.
answered your question, we was in Philadelphia, living in Overbrook, and that's when we got a call from Jesse Hill stating that you won the lawsuit, you won the case, we got your license for you to fight. So you're free to fight now. And when I got that phone call and I told Ali that, we both sat there and cried out of joy and got on our knees right there in our kitchen and said prayer. Thank God for the success of the draft and got his license back. That was a moment I'll never forget.
Amen. And so, how was he different at home versus in the public eye?
He was the same. Whatever you saw outside, you saw at home. He was comical, fun loving, you know, articulate as always, And so,
Is
except I did most of the talking in the house, but he did the talking on the outside.
what did people misunderstand most about your relationship?
Well, they didn't misunderstood us at all. They always saw us doing things together as a team. It was no problem doing the struggle and everything, and started making money. I designed the camp up in Deer Lake. We was very successful, And when he started making the money, the big money, you know, then the women start coming and want to sit in my seat, and that's how it started. And if you can't control yourself around your own family, you got a problem. That's
Right.
gonna, and I guess he got what he wanted. He's satisfied. He fought everybody he needed to fight, and when you get comfortable, and he reached his goal. I
Yes.
didn't finish reaching my goal. I was still on it. I was
Right.
still developing the Ali legacy. And then he destroyed it by being uh, frivolous, getting off track. Because, when you're climbing to the top as a team, you get to a certain point when he was satisfied with what he got, but I wasn't satisfied because I wasn't there to give up on the Ali legacy. He gave up on it. He just figured he can just do what he wanted to do, and no questions asked. He just got off track. That's all. A lot of men,
So,
they get off track.
what did those experiences teach you about strength?
It taught me what was important. It taught me that your dedication and your loyalty toward your family is more important than anything. And a lot of people, what I learned going through this cycle, I learned that when you build your family and you build that legacy, you should stay focused on that and keep going. And it just grows and grows and grows. Obviously, his sight wasn't on what I was looking at. So then that's what you call marital differences. And you know, and when a person gives up on himself, it's time you can't be doing that on my watch. You can't do that. You got to stay on focus stay loyal, and stay respectful.
You,
Otherwise, you got nothing. You can't do it by yourself.
you're
It takes
absolutely
a
right
team to
about
get there.
that.
Yes, ma'am. So, but when things like unexpectedly happens like that, because there was no planning for me to divorce my husband. That wasn't the plan. The plan was to stick in there, stay in there, build a legacy, let it get, you know, older and older and more efficient. But I guess that wasn't in his mindset.
So, what was your breaking
I
point,
had
and
to.
how
That,
did
that
you?
means I can't stop. I got to keep going. I can't just because he want to stop. Don't mean I'm going to stop. I'm not
What
going to
was
ever
your
stop.
breaking point? And how did you push through it?
My breaking point was when when I found out that he really didn't want to stay loyal. He just wanted to have fun and party, and he should have did
I
that a long
understand.
time
I'm a
ago.
woman
You know?
too. I'm a woman
Yeah,
too, so I
you
understand
want to
all of
party and
that.
relax and party, and and I'm not used to that. My family, my mother and father was married 68 years. He didn't stop and say he want to party.
Mhm.
He stayed focused on his family and until he was gone.
Okay. And
So,
so
so
let's
that
talk
was a
about your.
disappointing thing. But you know what? People have to do what they got to do. You
Yeah.
know, instead of me being his wife, I ain't gonna be nobody's mama. That ain't happening. You got a mama of your own. You don't need another one. So if a
Yeah.
man can't stand on his own 2 feet, you know, then I'm sorry. I'm not here. I'm not,
Yeah. I
you know,
get it.
time is up. And you know what? When you have those kind of differences that you can't reconcile, it's time to let it go.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can't make nobody do anything. You can't make a man be loyal. You can't make him stay focused on your future. You can't
Yeah.
make him do it. He has to want to do it. And if he don't
Yes.
want to do it, it's time to get off the train.
Yes, ma'am.
This train
I
is going
get it.
by itself. Yeah, and people have to do. You can't just people that sit there. And I've seen married couples. I've seen them stay there and say, "Well, I'm staying there," but you stand for what? Why are you staying there? What you going to stay there for? For more disappointment, more abuse? Some women just stay for the abuse. You don't. If somebody keep beating you every day and beating you every day, you gonna just take the abuse? Standing by your man, you're not standing by your man anymore. He's not standing by you. So why should you stand by him?
Absolutely.
You know.
Yes,
So I,
ma'am.
I got out early, long enough to get married a few times and know exactly to get the right one that's going to stand by you.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, you know.
And so, what inspired you
I
to
re
move into
I
acting?
remarried and had a happy life. I had remarried, had a happy life until he passed away.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what inspired you to move into acting?
Oh, uh, for acting. Okay, you know what? I have always been a movie person. I've always watched films and critique films, what I like about them, to see what it's like to be an actor, and to know the training is there. You have to know who you study with and everything. And when the opportunity came, I took it. So I ran into some agencies and I learned about that and I liked it. I, I tested it out. My first film. Now, there is a lot of actors that goes through a lot of training and everything with the right people, right time, taking a chance to see if somebody's going to pick you to be an actor.
Hmm.
And it's a struggle. And the very first movie I ever did, very first film I ever did, was a motion picture film. The very first tryout. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. And I played. There was played with John. Jane Fonda and Michael Douglas and Jack Lemmon. I mean, these are big stars. I was
Mm-hmm.
very honored to be with these big stars, but I did learn to prepare myself for these for the for the movie business. I studied. I did a little went to acting school and studied because it takes time. It takes education, and it's an art that if you're trained right and you execute it, your craft, you get you can only get better and better and better. And so that's
Yes.
what I did. I went through the process, and now I like making movies. I've always wanted to make movies. I used to see movies being made, and that excites me. So I've been a part of produced three films already, and I kind of like it. So I'm working on a film now called Pure Justice. A lot of my family is in law enforcement and firemen, so I've seen their side of the story, and I had an uncle that's the sheriff of police in Mississippi, and he is my hero. And I have a few cousins that are in the fire department, and they're my heroes. I mean, for somebody to go out and just go jump into a fire, that's bravery. I mean, you can't look at it,
Yes.
nothing else but bravery. I ain't gonna jump into no fire. No, that ain't nah. I don't feel that that's my passion, you know. Um, but I did wanted to join police department, but my mom and them then they didn't allow me to do that. So I could, so it was bad enough being married to Muhammad Ali. That was enough for me. It was like, but you know what? Being married to him, let me tell you what I got away with. I got away with the fact that when you're dealing with a lot of people, you get to learn about people real fast. Going Being married to Muhammad Ali was going to the University of People, and you can see them coming. You can know what they dealing with. They're people who con people. They're they're con artists. You know, you get all kind of people. So my education with people was I learned real fast, and you get to know about people, and people are funny. Just like Art Linkletter said, people are funny, and you get to know their weaknesses and their little con artist actions, and sometimes you know when like what is the name Kenny Rogers said you have to know when to fold them and know when to hold them. You know, you gotta know when
And
to
know
fold,
when to run.
but know when to run. There you go. So you get to learn a lot about people like that, and people have been in companies and they learn about people. They get ripped off. They get conned. You know, and it's all about the process of learning. You actually learn through the process. What Ali put me through, I learned a lot. Matter of fact, it made me a bigger, stronger, more direct person. If I hadn't went through a session with Ali, I wouldn't. I don't think I would know as much as I know now. I'm serious,
Mm-hmm.
because even if you go to a bad marriage in the end, it's not
Mm-hmm.
really that bad because you actually learned from that.
Right.
So when things, life is going to happen.
Yes.
Everything that happens in life is not going to be the way you think it is going to be.
Yes.
But you should pray enough so you can be able to deal with it with ease without
Yes,
panic.
ma'am.
You know what? A lot of people panic all the time. If you pray and you try to see your way through it and learn from it, it's a learning process. And the good and the bad is all good. When it's bad, it's still good. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, I do.
people, say, "Oh, why did this happen to me?" It didn't happen to you. It happened for you. Whatever rejected you before, it was a reason for it. You didn't have it in the first place. It wasn't time for you yet. I outgrew Ali, period. I outgrew him. I took a more spiritual path. one on
Wow.
one. He, I don't think
You,
he feared. I don't think he feared God enough. Some people just don't fear and they just keep doing what they're doing and they don't stop. And when they do that, you can't stop them. You have to just let it go. But
yes.
this is the thing. The whole thing about him and I, we built the legacy together as a team. We learned from each other as a team, and I just kept on learning. I didn't stop. I kept on learning, and he was he was so easily to be manipulated, very easy. So
So, when what inspired you to write your story uh, with your books?
because you know what, I feel if you cannot share your life with others, they can't learn anything. They will learn, but it's best to give people a heads up. Look, I did this, I tried that. A lot of women, they stay locked down into a relationship that they can't seem to get it together. They don't. When you try to get into a relationship, you got to learn each other, and when you learn each other, and you find out this person, by whatever reason, has been influenced by whoever's out there, change your motivation about change your goals, then you're gonna have a problem. If you can't work together as a team, you're not gonna make it. And
Yes,
and
ma'am.
and now you can hang in there for a minute to see if people are going through something. Then they wake up and smell the coffee. Then they say, "Oh yeah, I think I better stick with her. I think I better, keep listening to her like I've been listening. It'll be better for me." And then I know that it's a good thing. But if
Hmm.
everybody's going against the grain all the time, it's going to be a bad cutting wood. You're going to be a bad
Yes, it
cut. So,
is.
but you can't just stay there and make stuff happen. If things are going wrong for a long time, you can see there's no going to be no change. It's time to get off the boat, because
Exactly.
when that boat starts sinking, you don't want to be on it.
Exactly.
And I ain't nobody's captain to no ship. If that ship starts sinking, I'm getting off.
I know that's right.
And
Life jacket or not.
that's right. You gotta get your life jacket and get off.
Yeah.
You know, and then
And so,
because you'll save a lot of time and it'll give you more time to try it again.
yeah.
If you waste up all your time just stuck on stupid, you'll never grow. So if
Exactly.
you look like it's not gonna work out, you can tell when something's gonna work out when it ain't gonna work out. Common sense tell you that. So
Yes,
don't
it
be
does.
delusional thinking you wishing it would happen. Look, because we all wish for the best, okay? But when something's not working right, it's time to let it go. You cannot force issues, and
Yes.
then if you waste all your time trying to make it change and it will not change and you know it, then you're wasting your time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, how do
I've,
you
I've, I've
use
already waste too much time as it is on your own. you know the
So, how do you use your voice today to create change?
only thing that I can change is myself, okay? And if I can change myself, I'll give somebody, say, "Hey, I went down that road, ladies. Don't go down that road. Be yourself. Focus on what you want to do in your lifetime. Try to focus on your family first, and then that family can build a legacy." See, a lot of people don't understand being married, having a family, that's the beginning of your legacy. And whatever comes out of that, the legacy grows and grows. If you got some families that stick with education. Just say, for instance, they'll go to college and they get a degree. Sometimes the family stays in the same line, degree source. Like if your mother and father is a doctor or a nurse or they're doctors, Usually, some of the family, your offspring will go into it because it's easy to get into it because they're already there. They can help you. But if you thinking one thing and they're thinking something else, you need to focus on and be around people who are in that field and stick with those people that's in that field to help you.
Right.
Yeah.
Where their expertise lie. And if your
Yes,
expertise
yes.
aren't there, then you need to sit down and let somebody else handle it that, that has that experience. And I
There's too many
definitely can
people
relate to
trying.
that.
Yes, ma'am. There's too many people trying to force people to do what you want to do. They don't want to do what you want to do. They want to do what they want to do because
Right.
they grow up in life and saw what they like and what they don't like, and you can't force people to do what you want them to do.
Okay.
And they have to be their own person.
Yes, ma'am. This
And then
means so
yeah,
much. This
yeah.
means so much that I want to ask you from my heart. What are your thoughts on how hate crimes and racial injustice are being handled today?
Okay. First of all, racial injustice is something that has been around for decades. The only thing about that, you speak on your upbringing. It's all about your upbringing. If you go into a world and your family connects with other families and they don't teach the hate, they only teach love and consideration and respect, then you only deal with those people who have those qualities. You know, racism is built on training you to hate. It doesn't matter what your race is. Hate, hatred, disrespect that's just what it is. And and it all depends on the individual. If they're trained to be respectful and they're trained not to hate, they're trained to be open minded, to be able to work out and learn about people's lives and respect their lives. There ain't no hate. There's no hate. Hate is an action. It's an action. And if you train somebody to hate without them losing their own mind, their own senses, your own senses naturally teach you not to hate. Your upbringing, what's right is right and wrong is wrong. I don't care how you look at it. And
Yes.
and the hate part is trained. You have to be trained for that. You know, I know it's a lot of hate in America, but when I go out there, I don't go out there with that on my mind. Hatred, it doesn't go on, it's not in my mind. I don't try to upset somebody. I try to agree with them. I try to reason with them, and I try to compromise situations. There's no hate opening for that. So, and I consider that a very small percentage. If you don't want to hate, you're not gonna. I mean, you might be confronted with it, but being confronted with it, you have to take it for what it's worth and be respectful when somebody come at you. Just be respectful
Yes.
and let it roll off your back like water on a duck. It comes in your world, just let it roll off your back. Don't feel, don't, 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 don't put kindling in there to make the fire start.
Yes,
You know what I
ma'am.
mean? So,
Yes.
if somebody go into some place and you hear them start talking hate, you don't feed the fire. You say, I'm sorry, sir, that's where you feel, that's where you feel. And let it go.
Hmm.
Um, and then, people have confrontations, people die and get killed from that.
Hmm.
And you have to de-escalate the situation, you know,
Yes.
and
And
because there are bad people out there, you're going to have that challenge. It's going to happen, and you just have to, you know, deactivate it. So whatever you have to do to take it off
The
off that
map.
table. Yeah. It's all, and you know what? And it's all about your attitude. It's
Hmm.
all about attitude. You can just have a certain attitude and start hating.
Hmm.
Yeah, people use that. And some people just want to see what makes you tick. And as
Yes.
long as you don't fall for it,
Hmm.
you'll be successful.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
So, what advice?
That's what I'm thinking, you know. I
So,
just
what
hope
advice
somebody.
would you give women who feel unheard or overlooked?
Well, the only thing about women, I understand that you're supposed to always respect yourself in any situation. Don't do not put yourself where you're disrespected. Don't carry yourself and be disrespected. Uh, a lot of times, they always say women are emotional. It's true. Sometimes they take the emotion and get out of hand, get loud, and get out of hand, and they have an audience that doesn't help. That kicks it off a lot of times. A lot of people like to push your buttons, and you have to know people are there to push your buttons, and you don't let people push your button. Stay calm, stay civil, stay respectful. Don't get out of saying when you rise your temperature, you get hot headed, start talking too much, and start screaming, you're out of control. It's almost like talking to a drunk person. If somebody is intoxicated, it's like talking to a wall. They're not going to see your reason. They
Yes.
don't see reason. When you're drunk, they don't see reason. You know,
So,
and some
and
people
that's the
are
truth. They
and
don't
some
see
people are
reason,
drunk
no
with attitude.
compromising.
Yeah,
It ain't no,
there's
it
no
ain't it.
compromise. No, you know, they might as well be drunk. They might as well be higher drunk because
Yeah.
they get emotionally into that state. It's just as bad.
Yes.
It's just as bad. You know,
So, what would you say to young people trying to find their voice?
young people find the first of all, number one, training a young person. A lot of it is from your background, from how you upbring your kids. If you don't pay attention to them, they're going to get on the outside and be influenced by the outside. And
Hmm.
sometimes it's not always good. You have to be a firm person. You know, we all trying to find ourselves. We all get in conditions that we're trying to find ourselves. Mothers and fathers, they don't always know all the answers. They're trying to find their way through by themselves. And sometimes it can take its toll and you can get angry. And like I said, it's all in attitude. You know, keep the fire at a minimum. Don't add fuel to the fire. If you want to talk to somebody, if you can't talk to people, then don't say anything. Walk away. Because
Right.
one day they're gonna learn. They will learn. These young people today, they have so much energy. Oh, they have so much energy. And that energy can be kindled into the wrong direction. And if you want somebody that has all this energy, it's good to have things so they can challenge you there in a positive light. And all children wants to be is heard, and children are not stupid.
Hmm.
You act a certain way, and they know you're not supposed to act a certain way. They know it, and then they fight against that. You know, but you've got to listen. You got to listen. You got to hear what they say. Have to say. You have to listen to them, but you have to also be a guide, a person to guide them in the right direction. And a lot of
Yeah.
our children are not guided because you know why? You know, all this influence, they have so much negative influences out there. You know, you got the television, you got the movies, you got the podcasts, you got Facebook, you got all kinds of streaming system that put ideas in these young people's heads. and sometimes these ideas are not good ideas.
No, I
That's why
agree.
you have to say, if you don't even say anything to them, try to conduct them with your own character. A lot of times, sometimes you don't have to say anything. They'll be watching you and they'll observe. They're always observing. They're like
Hmm.
sponges sucking up water. They observe a lot. They suck up a lot. And don't think they don't know no better. They know better. Don't underestimate a young child. Their minds are young, they're smart, and don't play them for a fool. Don't play with them. Don't say
Right,
one thing to them and do something else. Please don't do that. If you
right.
don't know something, say, look, baby, I don't know. I don't think you should do this way. Talk to them. You have to talk to them. And then they have to learn how to pray and ask God for guidance. And they'll get it. But they've taken the substance of spirituality out of their lives. So they're like lost souls out there. There are lost souls out there.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
deep. Thank you for that. So
Ma'am.
if
And
you
that's
could,
and I'm just being honest, man. Being
so
honest,
it, yeah. And so if you could say one thing to the world tonight, what would it be?
What one word to say tonight, I would say to him, try to search for your spirituality. Try to search for what's good in your life because there's a lot of good in spirituality, you know, and you just try something that makes common sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't deal with it. Doesn't make common sense, don't deal with it. You know, and just try to do good by yourself. Clean yourself up. Say your prayers to the Creator. You don't have to have a name or religion. Just a Creator. You see, the Creator created the sun, moon, and stars, and the trees, and life, and the air. The Creator did that. So you have to just bow down to the Creator. Pray to the Creator. If you don't know no names to it, it don't matter. Just pray to Creator for guidance because the Creator's there.
And what worries me, about
What's the
what you were saying about the stuff that is being showed on social media and stuff, it's like all these different trends where now, like, everybody is focused on people's bottoms, they're behind, and every time you scroll, no matter what social media site that you're on, all you're seeing is people's behinds, their backsides and stuff. And
Yeah,
the message that is being sent to the young women, they're thinking this is the way that things are supposed to be. If they go out and put eyelashes on, 10 feet tall, it sets a trend because
yeah,
these young people are watching,
yeah,
and
they
it's
are.
it's and it's
But you know what?
scary.
You know what you got to do? You know what you got to do? A woman, they've lost their sensitivity. They've lost what is admired by a woman. And your decency and respect is one of them. Whatever you do, before you walk out your house, outside your door, just stand in front of the mirror and look at yourself and see if those eyelashes, it looks like lampshades and you look like a clown, take them off. Just take a good look at yourself because your mind is going to tell you the right thing.
Hmm.
So when you look at yourself, I mean, I've seen the Grammys, I've seen the Emmys, I've seen all these award dates, and our women have miles and miles of clothing and nothing's covered up at all. It's just fabric. They show their busts, their breasts, their butts, their legs, the cracks that ain't supposed to be seen is more exposed than anything else, and then you wonder why people don't respect you. That should tell you something. And you shouldn't want to be exposed. You want to be covered and decent and respected, covered in high fashion. High fashion. You can be discovered in high fashion. Everything closed off. Leave something for the imagination. Don't give
Absolutely.
people all of this for free. That's not your
Wow.
freedom. You are less free when you do that. You're not gonna ever be a free woman until you stop doing that. You
Amen.
know what? I got to tell you something. I'm giving you a tip. I got a new podcast coming out real soon
All
called Mama
right.
Ali Speaks, and I'm going to expose a lot of stuff. Now, I'm exposing it because I feel that I have a right to let you know how you really look.
Thank
You,
you.
you ever see a
'Cause-
woman? You ever see a woman back in the day and they slippers hanging? Are you gonna walk by and let that woman walk past you and don't tell her slippers hanging?
no, ma'am.
Now, what kind of woman is that that wouldn't tell, "Hey, sis, your slippers hanging"?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna speak out. They
That
don't
is
do
so good because that's what we
they can
need.
do it right. You know, and I sit there and waiting for somebody to do it. Ain't nobody doing it. And decades has passed, and I'm sitting up here waiting for somebody to say something, and ain't nobody saying. I said, you know what? Now I'm gonna say something because I'm older, I'm wiser, and I'm ready. You know, that's my
Right.
clock going off.
But
So
you know, it was in tune. I
it
thought it
was
was
a
part of your
two, right?
show.
It
You
was
know,
a, and I'm
it
gonna
said,
speak. I'm gonna speak my piece, and they can either take it or leave it. I don't care. At least I
wow.
pulled their coattail. At
I
least I
can't
tried.
wait. I
Yeah.
can't wait. I'm gonna be your
Oh
number
yeah, I
one
got some.
fan.
I got some form, baby. I got some form. You know,
All
nobody
right.
is perfect in this world, but that doesn't stop you from being beautiful. Our women are beautiful. They so they're amazing. They're smart. They're gorgeous. But you ain't got to show everything. That's what you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
5 times out of 10, a man to see the same woman saying, and that's why they can go to anybody they want whenever they want because it's all
Mm-hmm.
out there for them for free. For
Mm-hmm.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do you want to get married when they see everything you got?
Mm-hmm.
But when they go get married, they ain't gonna get that one. They're gonna get the one they can't get. That's the one they're gonna stick with. Basically.
Wow.
It all depends on what kind of man you got. That's all.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Now, you are an activist, a speaker. You do all type of things in the community. You know, if somebody wants to book you, how do they go about doing that?
Wow, that's a good one. You know, I shut down my website and I'm gonna be putting it back up. But what you can do, you can always go on Facebook or Instagram and send me a message and say I would like for you to be booked somewhere, and just tell me in my message until I get my website back up. And I'm Dr. Khalilah Camacho-Ali, the way you see it right on the screen for my Facebook and my Instagram. Uh, I'm on Threads, and I'm also on Lycaton, and I'm also on X. I'm
All
on every
right.
social media there is. There's no way you cannot get around it. But if you go to Facebook or if you go Instagram, you can also just, leave me a message or like that, and I'll get back with them. Hmm.
Okay. So, what about your books? And you got these movies and stuff coming out. How
Yeah.
can they get them? How can they find them? Any events you got coming up you want to talk about?
Yeah. Like so, what happened? Like I said, the website should be up in a month's time, and I oh yeah, if they want to leave me a message, they can also go to. I got an email they can go to and ask for me. It's called TKO. It's like technical knockout, a TKO.
Mm-hmm.
TKO 2020 at Yahoo.com. You can also send me a letter, TKO2020 @yahoo.com. And you can send a message there inside that. And yeah, so or you can go through Instagram or Facebook and send me a message, and I'll get it.
Okay. Well, you
So
make sure that you keep us in the loop of when your podcast and everything is going to come out, because I'm going to be right there watching and I'm going to help you promote it. We are running out of time. I want to tell everybody that is just now tuning in. We
yeah,
had an outstanding interview this evening with Khalilah Camacho-Ali, former wife of Muhammad Ali. I'm your host, Pearl J. Spaces of Success Radio and TV. Thank you, Khalilah, for being a guest. I salute
thank you
you
so
and
much,
all the
sweetheart.
things that you do.
Pearl, you're the pearl.
All right.
Thank
You
you
have
very
a good
much.
one.
God bless
Much
you.
love.
God bless you.
God bless you as well.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, sweetheart. Okay.
Much bragging about it, but everybody that watches me fight or everybody that has witnessed one of my bouts, they say that I am the greatest that they've ever seen.